Today I'm going to start the topic which we have already discussed a little bit in the previous lectures. So today we are going to discuss the Rousseau's popular sovereignty. So in this today's lecture, we are going to assess a few important questions. First is, what is the Rousseau's concept of sovereignty, and why Rousseau has, or we can call this sovereignty as a popular sovereignty. In the examination, the question may come like this: what do you understand by the term sovereignty? Critically examine the Rousseau's concept of popular sovereignty. And another question may come like this way, that what is general will, or what is popular sovereignty? Critically examine the Rousseau's concept of general will. So the question may come like that way. So today we are going to discuss this concept. Before discussing the Rousseau's concept of sovereignty, first of all, we need to understand what is sovereignty is all about. Like in the previous lecture, we have already discussed related to the Thomas Hobbes theory related to the sovereignty, and how the Thomas Hobbes has talked about the Leviathan. So, what is the sovereignty basically means? The sovereignty basically represents the supreme power. The term basically represents a authority which is not below than any other thing or any other body or any other person. First thing, it always works in a very independent manner. It never be dependent on the other any other factor. For example, if we see the in the case of India, where do we have the sovereignty? So the sovereignty lies in our constitution. So you can see that sovereign constitution, India's constitution, neither be ruled by any person or the anybody, neither take the what you call take the decision or accept the decision by anybody. You can ask me the question that Parliament always what you call the do the amendment, constitutional amendment under Article 368. So the answer is these provisions have been mentioned in the constitution. That's why the parliament is capable enough to do the amendment, or the Supreme Court or the High Court can make the interpret the constitution. So overall, you can see the fact that sovereignty basically means the most supreme power, or no one is ahead than the sovereignty means it is the supreme body, and it cannot be controlled, or it cannot be come under the any other body. If it will work on the basis, or you can say on the pressure of any other body or any other person or any other country, then it means the sovereignty not lies in the hands of that which we are talking about. For example, we always talks about the India is a sovereign nation. Okay, yes, India is a sovereign nation. But if USA or the China start threatening that, okay, if you will not accept this trade policy, we will punish you. We will do the punishment and be ready for that. So if India is taking the decision under the pressure, or under the what you call the pressure, or you can say that under the guidance or under the leadership of the USA or the China, then you can say that India is not a sovereign country. The sovereign India's sovereignty lies in the hands of the USA or the China. So the sovereignty is a very important thing. Means important thing for any nation. The next key characteristics of the sovereignty, it never be shared or the divided or the transferred. Means the sovereignty always try to be in the permanent in the nature, and it never combines. It never be divided. We cannot divide the sovereignty. Now we can see that the popular sovereignty, from where the idea about the Rousseau's popular sovereignty has been taken up. So you can see the Rousseau's idea about the popular sovereignty we have taken from the perspective of Rousseau means the USA have taken the idea from the Rousseau how the constitution should be. Like in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the Rousseau's social contract theory. In that social contract, what we have discussed, what we have found, that all the person will take the decision on the basis of uh, how we can protect and promote the interest of others. The core of the social contract is how other person's happiness lies in the happiness of the self. So same motto has been tried to be incorporated in the US's constitution. And it talks about that the government power lies in the sovereignty, means the government is taking the decision, and the government is taking the decision not for the benefit of the self, but it is trying to benefit all the people in the country. So you can say that how the USA's constitution or USA have taken the inspiration from this kind of Rousseau's popular sovereignty. So if you can see the Rousseau's concept of popular sovereignty, you can see that Rousseau has conceived that state is an organism. Means it is organism is here, state he has called, and he has said that how this organism can function in a more independent manner or more beautiful manner. So what he has said that we will find or we will try to track the happiness of all the members in the state. Whenever we are taking the decision, whenever we are sitting together and trying to take the decision related to the others, because any decision we are taking, for example, in this classroom, the Nupur has taken the decision related to now I will do the presentation in the class. So she cannot take the decision for the self, means what you call to the self. She can take the decision related to the self, but to not harm the what you call the rights to the other. Means other students want to listen some different scholar, some different person rather than any student. So, what is the basic core major point of this Rousseau's popular sovereignty is that state works as a kind of as a kind of organ where no person is trying to harm the any other person. Means all the persons are trying to protect and promote the interest of others rather than the self. So two things are here. First is no harm principle, means the in the Rousseau's popular sovereignty means the Rousseau has said that the sovereignty means the power will lies in the hands of all the people, and in this whole population, no person is going to take such kind of decision which will harm the any other person. This thing Rousseau has mentioned in the social contract book. The next principle is the political life is the sovereign authority. Means here many point of time it has been raised that where can we find or where can we track the Rousseau's sovereignty or who is having the supreme power. So Rousseau has said that it resides among all the people, whosoever are the people in the state, they are the sovereign. Because why he has called it as a kind of sovereign authority to all the person whosoever are living or whosoever are taking the decision, because he said that all the persons are working for working and taking the decision. Means for example in this classroom, if we are taking the decision and taking the decision related to the lectures, okay, shall we start the offline classes or not? So what will happen, the all of you are going to take the decision in a manner that it will not harm the any other person whosoever is not capable to attend the class, or whosoever is not capable enough to be the part of class. So you will take such kind of decision uh, where the protect interest of other student can also be protected and the promoted. So, if you can see the what is the core point of the Rousseau's popular sovereignty is it is based on the consent. Consent of government. Consent means like the John Locke theory of consent is also here. John Locke's theory of consent is little bit different than the Rousseau's theory of consent. What John Locke has talked about, John Locke has talked about the consent is based on the self-interest. In the John Locke theory of consent, you can see that all the person has participated in the forming the social contract or in the passing the law is on the basis of self-interest based consent. Whereas, if you can see the Rousseau's social contract or Rousseau's popular sovereignty, it means the law will be passed on the basis of how we can protect and promote the interest of other person rather than the self. So here it is self versus other difference is there. So the theory of consent is the same. The next thing is what Rousseau has talked about in Locke's theory of consent, there can be minority and majority can be there, but in the Rousseau's consent theory, all the persons, what you call, decision must be participating in the decision, and there is no voices, there is no boycott to, or there is no suppress to the voice of the minority. Means he was talking about all the persons' participation or agreement or consent should be there in the form of other person's interest. The next thing is Rousseau's sovereignty is inalienable or and indivisible. Means the Rousseau theory of popular sovereignty has mentioned that it neither been separated or nor can be divided. Or means, for example, if Rousseau has said that we can divide the sovereignty, so he has said that sovereignty lies among all the people who are participating in the decision making process, and he said that it is not divisible, and the people cannot give away. For example, in this classroom, the Nupur has said that I am giving this sovereignty to the Anushka is saying to other person, so he said that the sovereignty cannot be transferred, it cannot be transferred by any other person to any other body or any other uh, uh, institution. He said that it cannot be transferred. And why he has said this thing, we need to understand this fact. Because he said that there may be chances that other person is corrupt, other person's thought and thinking is corrupt, so that there may be chances that person can take the decision on the basis of self, so it may harm the interest. For example, in this classroom, all the 10 students have given the authority on the basis of voting method, that okay, what is voting is all about. Voting is a method where we are transferring, giving the power to the representative, that the he or she can take the decision related to us. So Rousseau was totally against this. Why? Because Rousseau has said that how can we identify the fact the other person is taking the decision related, not related to the self, but related to the others. That's why Rousseau has talked about the direct democracy or direct democracy rather than the indirect form of the democracy. So, what he has said, the fact that non-transferable, it means the legislative function means we can do the discussion in the classroom or in the assembly, legislative assembly. There, we can see that how we can protect and promote the interest of others rather than the self. So, he was talking about in that manner. So, if you can say that what is the key characteristics of Rousseau's popular sovereignty? So, it is infallible, it is illimitable, means we cannot do the limit or we cannot divide it among the people. It is unrepresentable. This is also one of the unique feature in the, for example, in the India's constitution, India's sovereignty, we can see how it resides in the constitution. So that's a problem with the Rousseau sovereignty. Why Rousseau has said this kind of thing, that the popular sovereignty will not be representable, because two reasons are there. First reason is that the power corrupts human mind. The power, you must have heard the quote is there, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So same thing has been mentioned by the Rousseau, that if we will means give or represent, give the representative of sovereignty to any particular person or the particular body, then there is very much chances that person or the body may get corrupt. So that's why he has said that all the sovereignty lies, popular sovereignty lies in all the people who are participating in the decision making process. So indirectly, you can say that all the persons whosoever are part of the decision making, they are the popular sovereignty. The sovereignty lies in them. Uh, as I had already mentioned, you indivisible. It is permanent in nature. Means till the time it's there in the state, it should be there. Otherwise, there will be no state. Like we have discussed that what are the four important components of the states. State is there. So we know that how the territory is there, population is there, government is there, and the fourth sovereignty. Without these four things, we can't able to make the state. Like the water H2O. So same thing like that. These four things are the basic element for the state. So he has said that without sovereignty, no state can exist. The To exist any state, we require a popular sovereignty. The next thing he has said that all this means the popular sovereignty is not based on the fear or the compulsion. Means by pressure. Fear means all of you are taking the decision, not fear from the any other authority or by any other body. You are taking the decision by your own consent on the basis of how we can protect and promote the interest of this class. You are not taking the decision under the compulsion or under the pressure from any particular authority. You are taking the decision by your own consent. So these are the few important what you call the points, you can say that which Rousseau has discussed in his book The Social Contract. Why he has said that fear and the compulsion, the fear and the compulsion will corrupt the nature of popular sovereignty, and the law which will be made on the basis of fear and the compulsion or by the pressure, that will be the product of the corrupt mind and the corrupt thought, and that will bring the what you call or establish the corrupt society, and we can find the seeds of the corruption in the society. So he was talking about in that manner. Apart from that, what he has said that absolute sovereignty and the popular consent, these two things, when we will combine these two elements, then the popular sovereignty can form. Like whenever we say that what is the water, what is the chemical formula of water is there, how we can form the water, then you can say that two atoms of hydrogen and the one atom of oxygen, when we will mix club together under the some certain condition, then we can see the formation of water. So same thing like that, Rousseau has said that the absolute sovereignty must be there. Means there is no what you call the power is shared or power is divided or under the pressure. So it is absolute sovereignty, but it should be based on the popular consent. Popular consent means consent of all the people, means the all the persons are taking the decision on the basis of how we can protect and promote the interest of others. So this can be called as a popular sovereignty. He has here he has very good differentiated between the government and the sovereignty. He has said that government is not the sovereignty. Government is a legislative body, or government is a what you call legislative unit, but the sovereignty not lies in the hands of the government. So here he has talked about the government is different and the what you call the sovereignty is a different thing. Sovereignty means it will lie in the what you call the people or in the decision making body rather than the government. What he has said that government basically refers to the executive power in the state, not the legislative or the lawmaking. Means the government is here which is implementing the law which has been made on the basis of social contract. So in the social contract we have made the law. The government is applying those laws. So you can say that according to him, the government basically means the executive work by the government. Means how the law which has been passed on the basis of social contract or by the popular consent of so those laws will be applied by the government. So he was basically taking the government as a part of executive agencies, means to execute the law at the grassroots level or at the ground level, you can say. So technically, government does not refer only the executive; it refers both the legislative as well as the executive, as we know. Even though the judiciary is also part of the government in the modern concept, but according to him, the government and the sovereignty is the different thing. I'm not talking about in the modern area. So what he has talked about, Rousseau's government, what he has said that why the government is not the sovereignty, we need to understand this fact. He said that government is applying those things at the grassroots level. So what will happen? You can imagine a situation when the government, just imagine a situation when the government is not a part of only the part of decision making, means all the people are the part of decision making. So he has basically tried that this thing will not corrupt the law first. Second, because uh, when the law is not corrupt, so whenever the government will apply those things, it will be free from the corrupt state. It will be free from the corrupt ideas. So, what Rousseau has basically tried to explain his theory of popular sovereignty, that he has tried to create a law which is not based on the self-interest. Like you can say that popular sovereignty basically means that body or institution is there which is trying to protect and promote the interest of others, which is trying to protect and promote the social contract rather than the corrupt mind, corrupt thought, or the corrupt society. So he was talking about in that manner. So here one difference is there. What is the law is there, and he has said that law and the popular sovereignty is the not the same thing. Law is different thing, and the popular sovereignty is other thing. You may say that the law which has been passed by the on the basis of discussion or on the basis of what you call product of the popular sovereignty is the popular sovereignty is the law. So he said that law is a product of popular sovereignty, or it is an expression of general will. Is there, means it is a expression of all the participants, all the decision making persons, that this is the law. We want such kind of law which is protecting and promoting the interest of others. It is not the popular sovereignty. So you can say that law is a product of popular sovereignty, and where all the person have taken the resolution that what is the agreement, what is their concept, popular consent is there, that how they are seeing the interest of all the people whosoever are the part of the state, and this matter is concerns all the persons in the state. It is not particular or specific related. Law is means the thing is there. So law is applicable to all, like in under article 14 of India's constitution. All of us are aware about the fact that the legal what you call legal equality is there, means all the persons will be treated on the basis of equality, means law doesn't have any eyes, law doesn't have any body. Law is just as a kind of you can non-living thing, and the law will treat all the person whatsoever been written, it will treat according to the written document. So Rousseau has said that it will concern related to all the person, it will treat all the basis all the person in an equal basis, but it is not the popular sovereignty, it is the product of the popular sovereignty. And what he has said, that law must include the general interest. General interest means it will never harm any other person, but it will give the profit, and it will protect the life, it will protect the equality, it will protect the interest of other person. And apart from that, he has said that nobody is above the law. What does it mean? It means that nobody is ahead than the law, means nobody is ahead than the general will, the will the which is the product of the popular sovereignty. Means, for example, all of you have made the law that now we will every time in every class we will do the presentation, then we can do the discussion. So no one can question, or no one can, other authority can make the law above you, that no, you cannot make the law, you cannot make such kind of thing, you cannot take such kind of decision related to every time you will make the start the class with the presentation. I mean to say that the law is supreme, means law is not the sovereign body, but the law will, nobody can impose the law on the law in that manner, means like the government of India have made the law, so no one can impose the government of India to do this kind of law. So means what he has said, like in the India's constitution, just in a simple manner, no one is higher than the India's sovereignty, what you call the constitution. So what is the constitution? It is a bundle of laws. So you can say that according to him, the law is a product of popular sovereignty, and even though the popular sovereignty have made the law, because it is based on the interest of all the persons. So he has said that law is nobody is above than the law, and what he has said, that any state is only been legitimate or only been acceptable to all the person whosoever residing in the state when the state is ruled by the law. Means, for example, in this classroom all the students are participating or attending the lecture, not what you call not on the basis of what you call their self interest or by their own way. They can only attend the lecture, or they can only what you call attend the education system under the some certain rule or under the some certain law. You cannot say that sir, what is the matter, just we need to clear the examination, even though without participating in the school college, we can just give the exam and we can pass the examination. That is the criteria, but it is not the fact. We have made some certain procedure, some certain law, that how you can do the graduation, or how you can be a graduate. So we have made some certain laws, some certain rules. So these things are there. Now I would like to discuss you some negative points or the loopholes, or you can say the critical analysis. As we know that Rousseau has tried to protect and promote the interest of all the person, and he was trying to secure the interest of all the person. But after being, we can say that there are few shortfalls, or some few what you call negative things are there, which has been raised by several scholars. First of all, the Sabine has written in his book, The History of Political Philosophy, that it is incomplete. What does it mean? Means that incomplete. He said that the Rousseau has talked about the popular sovereignty, that it cannot be identified, it cannot be representable, or it will always be present permanent. So where is this sovereignty is all about? Where is the body? Either you can say that sovereignty will lies in the people. He said no. The sovereignty will lies in all the what you call in the government. So he said no. So it is incomplete basis that where is the basically a sovereignty lies, or where can we identify, or you can say that it is not very clear visible, like Foster and the Seal Vapor has mentioned in this book, that the idea about the popular sovereignty, which has been discussed by the Rousseau, is very much confusing between the popular sovereignty versus the social contract or the state. Means what state is all about. So there is very much not clear about what is state's work is there, what is the duty of social contract is there, and what is the popular sovereignty is there. All the things are mixing, and the interrelating things are there. And some scholars have said that it is a kind of arithmetical calculation, that how the mean can be there, how we can take the standard deviation or standard means from all the person. So it is like such kind of calculation. So some scholars have criticized the Rousseau's theory that it is a kind of Bentham, like I said, that it has the Rousseau has tried to make a arithmetical calculation to judge the popular sovereignty. So it is related to that. The next critique is you can say that negative point is that it is difficult to define that what is the popular sovereignty is there. How can we do that definition? So it is very difficult to define because how it is difficult to define because how we can track the any student is taking the person or anybody is taking the decision on the basis of self or on the basis of other. How we can identify that this is the popular sovereignty. The next thing has been mentioned by the Ernest Parker that the popular sovereignty which has been mentioned by the Rousseau is very much idealistic. It is far away from the reality. The Rousseau has tried to what you call make a such kind of theory or make a such kind of law which will beneficiary for all the person. So he said that such thing can never be possible, and the Rousseau's idea of popular sovereignty is very much idealistic in nature. It is far away from the reality. And in the conclusion, just I would like to point out few important things that the Rousseau was trying to establish the unity in diversity. In India, we can see that how many people, how many language are there, how many dialects are there, so how many culture are there, but we are living in a united manner. So same thing like that, the Rousseau was trying to make the popular sovereignty which will protect and promote the interest of all the persons. The interest which is not based on the self, but the interest which is based on the other. And in this popular sovereignty, this will be not based on the self contradictory. It will never contradict between one person to the another person. It is based on the consent, popular consent. And in this popular sovereignty, he has said that there is a duty to all the person to be a part of the decision making and to do the work for the welfare of all the person. And we can say that the Rousseau was trying to establish a certain kind of law which will never harm any person, but it will establish a state where it will remove all forms of the evils, of all forms of the corrupt thing from the minds of the people, or it will give the medicine to the corrupt society and the corrupt mind. So overall, we can say that basically overall, the Rousseau's idea about the popular sovereignty was related to how we can purify the minds and the souls of individual, how we can establish a society where all the persons are taking their interest in the interest of others, how we can make a harmony or what we call unity based kind of society and the state. So he was talking about in that manner. This was the code. So now, if any student have any queries or the questions, so you can ask me. किसी स्टूडेंट कोई क्वेश्चन है, कोई डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हो आप. Nupur, Anant, Anushka, Kumshong, Puspendra, every point is clear. Aditi.
Good
Aditi?
morning, sir.
Yes, no, good morning.
Sir, it's clear, but I just had a random question, just out of discussion. It's not a doubt. Sir, I would like to discuss about the difference between the sovereignty in today's era and in Rousseau's time period. So, like, what all are the exact prominent points that distinguish sovereignty at that time and today?
So you want to know the what is the difference between the sovereignty of Rousseau's sovereignty versus the modern sovereignty?
Yes, sir.
See, the Rousseau sovereignty, their major problem with the Rousseau sovereignty versus the modern sovereignty. We are talking about the Austin's principle of sovereignty or modern sovereignty is there. Several thinkers have given the theories on the sovereignty, but overall, what is the sovereignty in the modern context is there. First of all, it is permanent in nature, like the Rousseau has said. This is a similarity. It is indivisible. There is similarity. It is what you call it cannot be transferred. This is similar, but and it cannot be divided or it cannot be shared. This is similar. But what is the major difference between the modern sovereignty and the sovereignty of the Rousseau is that it is based on the popular consent. The idea about the popular consent is very vague. We cannot identify the fact that how the popular consent can be made. For example, in this classroom, all of you are participating in the decision making process. How we can identify that all of you are saying yes to this law, that all the students should present the paper in the classroom. So all of you are agreeing on this principle. It is based on your own interest or it is based on the interest of others. So how we can identify that your consent on this law is popular consent or not? So this is the first difference. The second difference, you can say that he was talking about it is not representable. So if the popular sovereignty is not representable, then how we can identify that if any problem will evolve or if any problem will come, how we can tackle those problems, how we can identify that this problem can be solved. For example, if India, we can say that any particular state has started separatist demand that we want to become separate from India, so we will try to see the constitutional provision. We will go try to track the constitution, what constitution is saying, because our sovereignty lies in the constitution. On the basis of constitution, we will take the decision. We will take the action. This way we can say that Rousseau's concept was not representable. So how we can identify the sovereignty? And the last point, which is related to this, is if the sovereignty is not representable, then how can I say that the state is sovereign enough or not? Because we cannot identify the sovereignty. So somewhere he has mixed the what you call emotions, values, or interest of all the persons versus the sovereignty. So somewhere he has added most of the point related to the modern sovereignty, but he has missed some important points, like it is representable there, and it always been what you call the he has talked about the popular consent that is very tough to identify. And the last, he has separated between the government and the what you call the popular sovereignty. So you can say that the government is not only about the executive work. The government also perform the legislative and the judiciary work. So like the parliament is a form of government. So you can say that these are the few important differences are there and the similarities are there.
Sir, does that mean that in Rousseau's time period, if this concept of democratic elections would have happened, so these have been a critique to him because
Yeah.
it requires popular consent and he was kind of against it?
Yes, why he has said that voting is not the best method, because voting will eliminate or it will go against a single individual. So he said that this is not the what you call the popular sovereign popular decision, or this is not the good law, because it is harming the one person or it is against even though 0.1%. So that's why he has raised that thing, and his basic idea was how we can make the consent should be based on the popular consent should be there, means uh, interest of all the persons, interest of all the people. That's why he has questioned the voting method, that voting will eliminate or voting will make some minority votes. Like in the USA election, you can say, what about the 49% votes? They don't want any other person, whosoever, either what Trump was there, Joe Biden was there. I mean, 48, 49% were against this presidential candidate. Where are their views? Who will represent them? There is no representative. So that's the question.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for nice question. Any other student have any questions or the queries?